All right, so you have a diagnosis called CAD, or coronary artery disease, and that is when the arteries that supply your heart with blood are starting to get clogged and filled up with fatty plaques. And these fatty plaques narrow and harden the arteries. So we're gonna work on some ways to try to reduce the risk factors of like a heart attack or anything like that. So the patient was referred to PT for cardiac rehab and stress relief. So that's what we're going to focus on today. Okay, so we're going to do something called cardiac rehab, and we're going to start with a warm-up, and then we're going to exercise you for a bit, and then we're going to have a cool down phase. But we're only going to work your heart like 30% of its workload, so not too much, okay? So before we get started on cardiac rehab, I'm going to just make sure that you have no unstable angina or uncompensated CHF or anything like that, my contraindications. And this is great for CAD and improving your exercise capacity and many more things. Indications. I used the Carbonin formula to find out her target heart rate, and her target heart rate is going to be 123 beats per minute. I took the max heart rate by subtracting 220 minus 32, her age, and I got 188, and I subtracted her heart rate by that 188, and I got 92, and I multiplied that 92 times the intensity, which was 30%, so 0.3, and I got 27.6, and I added her resting heart rate on top of it again to get her target heart rate of 123.6. So we're going to stick with the 123. All right. I'm going to have you start with marches, but before we do, I'm going to take your blood pressure. Relax her arm. And I just took her blood pressure, and it was 180/90, which is a little bit high, and that's normal for coronary artery disease. And as we go through this, I put a pulse ox on her finger. So she has a pulse ox. It's going to be on her the whole time, okay? And her pulse, or her oxygen is at a 99% right now before any exercise. Her heart rate, I'm going to check. Okay, and I did that for 60 seconds, 10 seconds for the video, but pretend I did it for 60 seconds, and her heart rate is going to be 96 beats per minute. That's her resting heart rate. And I'm going to have you check this as we go throughout the exercises to tell me how much work you feel like you're putting in. We want to keep this kind of moderate, so be honest. But, okay. So, for example, what would you say you're doing now? How much work?
Nothing, so I'd say a 1 on the scale.
Okay, perfect. That's exactly right. All right, so we're going to get started. I'm going to have her do marches. So I'm going to have you raise your knees up. There you go. And I'm going to have you do this for 5 minutes. Okay, we're 2.5 minutes in, and I'm going to have you check this scale and give me a rating on what you would say your workload is.
This is very easy, so a 2 on the scale.
Okay, perfect. And then I'm going to check your heart rate. And she's going to continue moving while I check all this. Okay, so her heart rate is 98, so not much went up. And then her pulse ox is at 98, so everything's looking good. And we're rounding to the end. We're at 5 minutes now. And I'm going to check your pulse ox again. Looks good, it's at 98. We're gonna have you check the RPE scale and let me know where you're feeling you're putting your workload into.
It's still very easy for me.
That's 2?
2.
Okay, sounds good. And I'm gonna check your heart rate one more time. So now it's at about 100, so it did increase a little bit. And I'm going to check your blood pressure. And I'm going to have you flip your hand. Perfect. relax. Perfect. So your blood pressure is at about a 182/90, so went up a tiny bit, but that's normal. And we're gonna get started with your next exercise so you can relax. Okay. So for the next exercise, I'm gonna have you stand up and we're gonna do some walking. And we're gonna do the same exact thing where we check your workload, we checked your heart rate, your oxygen, and the only thing we're gonna do is blood pressure before and after. Okay, so we're just gonna do some walking, and she is able to walk on her own, so I'm just supervising her. So I'm gonna walk with her and take the same everything, vitals and everything, and just walk with her. All right, so go ahead. All right, so now we're halfway through the exercise, and I'm going to check her heart rate. I'm just gonna have you walk in place for this one. Go ahead, walk in place. I'm gonna check her heart rate. Okay, awesome. She's at 110 beats per minute, which is pretty good. We're getting up there. And I'm gonna ask you how much work you think you're putting in.
This is pretty easy for me, so a 3.
Okay, that's pretty good. And then I'm going to check your oxygen. That's not nice. Okay, so she's at 97, which is average. And we're going to continue with the exercise. So I'm gonna have you keep walking. Wrapping up with the exercise now, and I'm gonna have check your heart rate. So I'm gonna have you just stand and walk in place. So she's at 120 beats per minute, which is about like right about at her max. And I'm gonna have you give your workload. Like, what would you say your workload is at?
This is comfortable for me, so a 4.
Okay, and then her oxygen, I'd say, is like a 97 again. No, I'd say that's what the pulse ox said. And I'm gonna take your blood pressure. Relax. Pretend I did all the blood pressure stuff. Okay, and so your blood pressure is at about 190/90, which is normal. That your systolic would rise a little bit. You can stop walking now. All right, so it's normal that your systolic would rise a little bit. Okay, for this exercise, we're gonna do a meditation for stress relief. So I'm gonna have you lay down on your back with your head facing that way and your legs up this way. All right, perfect. So I'm just gonna run you through a guided meditation. Wait. Okay, so I'm gonna have you start by closing your eyes. Awesome. And I'm gonna have you take 3 deep breaths in, and while you do, really feel the air going in, and when you take a deep breath out, really feel the air fully coming out of your chest. And on your 3rd breath out, I'm going to have you feel yourself sink into the couch. Just feel all your body weight sink into the couch. So now I'm going to have you sit. I'm going to have you, I'm going to start at your head, and I'm going to have you feel your head on the couch. Feel every sensation in your face. If you have any thoughts, that's okay. Just let them come and go. And while you're taking deep breaths, I'm going to have you think about the air going in through your nostrils and really feel it going down your throat. Now we're going to move down to your back, and I'm just going to have you feel your shoulders in the couch and how your lower back feels and where you feel weight supported the most. And then we're going to move on to your hands. And I'm going to have you feel each finger. And if you feel any special sensations or hot or cold, just pay attention to those. Wait. Now I'm going to have you focus your attention down towards your hips. Really feel yourself sink into the couch. And again, if any thoughts come in, that's okay, just let them in and gently push them out. And I'm going to have you move down through your legs. Notice what parts of your legs are putting the most pressure on the couch. If you feel sore, if you feel any type of sensation, heat, tingling, anything in your legs, just notice it. And then we're going to move down to your feet and feel the way your toes feel. And your heels. And really just bring your attention to the side of your feet. You can continue to take these deep breaths. That's a guided meditation. Okay. Bingos. All right. Up, sit, wait. All right, so that concludes the meditation. So I'm going to have you slowly open your eyes when you're ready. And how do you feel?
I feel grounded.
Grounded, that's wonderful. That was a good answer.
What am I supposed to feel after meditation?
That was very good anyway. So now I'm going to have you swing your feet over to the side and lift yourself up with your elbow in this arm. There you go, and I'll help you up. And we're going to sit here for a minute in case you feel dizzy or anything. Right? Perfect. That concludes our session. Okay. Very good. You know, showing off my tricks. Duh.
Oh,
Huh?